I'm gonna give it a few minutes because I said I would be coming back at about 4:30, and then I did it for 4:40. Excuse me, my heating pad went off. Got my fresh coffee. I've had a cigarette. Good to go, folks. Good to go. Got to remember hit that mute button when I take a swallow. Oh my goodness, somebody gonna come in here watching this and say that crazy lady, the crazy lady. Hey, Ernie Birdie, how are you? I have a question. Do you know how to be a mod? I know nothing about mods. I know nothing about how to get a mod. I certainly can't pay a mod, but I can't keep up with chat, and I don't want people saying ugly stuff when I'm just reading stuff, and I don't know what to do to get a mod. I don't even know how to put out for somebody to get in touch with me. Would you like to mod for me? Just one. I mean, just I am a random when I go. Oh, you would here. Let me see. How do you make a mod? How do I make a mod? No, I don't want. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? Somehow I wish I could, like a email. I'm scared to give a phone number because anybody else would hear a phone number. I don't know how to chat. Oh, wait, wait, wait. Maybe this. No, I'm such an idiot. I can't. Let's see. It doesn't even tell me how to private chat. Yeah, I just obviously, what with 10 people, I don't, I don't need a whole lot. I don't even know how to make a mod. Let's put it like I got some. Oh, maybe because I'm in stream. No, in Streamyard. I've seen people do that. Well, I'm going to invite you to a Discord. Yes, I can download a Discord app. I used to be on them a long time ago, and then people get so ugly. Oh, okay, Miss Shorty, she's awesome. I've seen her, but oh well, that may be well, but I've got subscribers. I just don't have watchers. Apparently, I have people that have subscribed. I have like over 1,000 subscribers, so I think I should be able to get a moderator. I just don't know how. And yeah, I would. Hi, curious Wendy. I would very very much enjoy being part of a Discord that where people get along and they're not ugly to one another. I've seen some Discords that are I wouldn't allow my dog to be in there because they always so ugly to each other. But hi, curious Wendy. I hope y'all are doing well. I appreciate it. I just don't know, I keep feeling like I need to come up with my own, what do you call it? My own email that I could put out there. I just don't know what I'm doing yet. But it's just, I don't mind if people have a different opinion. Hi, Mama Jamma. It's not that I feel that they, obviously I'm baffled. Hey, Mama Jamma, with anybody that doesn't see it the way I see it because of all the evidence. So obviously, I've got, it's not a rude reason. It's just honestly, I can't I can't fathom anything else. But like for example, the last video that I did, and then I stopped because nobody was bringing me coffee. I had to go make my own, so I took a little break and had a cigarette. And the comment that was put up, you know, the person maintained decently in the chat, but you could tell wanted to have engagements of otherwise not getting along. And it seemed okay, but the very last comment they put in there was something that's really disgusting, and it had something to do with it's Turtle Boy, and I believe accusations because I don't believe what they said was true. But anyway, I saw that in the comments after I came back. It was still up on my screen, so I deleted that. But there's certain words that just because. Okay, Turtle Boy. They were saying some stuff about some of the accusations that were really gross about Turtle Boy, and I don't need that on here. And I listen to Turtle Boy. I get a lot of he does the research, and I have no problem putting it out here as news because I trust his investigative reasoning, and so far he's pretty much been right on the button of all of it, But that doesn't mean that I agree with everything he says. Like, there's few words growing up that I've never ever used ever. One of them starts with a C. Y'all can imagine. I mean, that to me is one of the most vile, disgusting words. Now, I have a dear friend over in the UK, and that seems to be one of their favorite words to say. They can't understand why us Americans get so upset about it. Well, we get upset about it because since I was a little girl, it's had a really nasty, nasty meaning. Now, I will say that the F word used to be something that you didn't even say in my presence. Okay, it was not allowed. You didn't say it. Well, I think that this generation throws that word around like my generation throws around the word DAMN and SHIT, right? I know I've only been live a few minutes. I don't want to get the police the police on me, but yeah, I don't. Discussing the case, discussing the facts is great. Hey, Margaret, but I don't want the other garbage just tossed out here. I just don't. I don't want it seen. So it just surprises me. That'd be my husband in the background. He's not going to turn around or wave or nothing. Look, he just sneaks in, sneaks out. Y'all want to know a secret? Just having to do that, when you get a speeding ticket and you have to do that course. They got my husband on speeding. Yeah, hot damn, in a 35. No, I'm sorry, in a 30 going 40 or 45. They fixed our streets, and when they fix our streets, for some reason our cars just go faster down our street. Anyway, okay, so I'm just going to say, listen, y'all, if people come in and they want to voice their opinion and you don't want to, you don't have to engage with them. If you want to ask them a question, do it respectfully. If they're not respectful, just cut off the conversation and they can just, write in here, and then I'll just go back later and remove any comments. But I don't want it to be a battle. To me, it's not a battle. I'm not trying to swoop in and get a group of people who are 100% believing that Karen Reed is guilty and try to force them into my opinion. That's not what this is for. I am trying to show, if anybody that believes that way would like to look at the evidence or the lack thereof as I see it through my eyes, that's what these videos are for. So hopefully that will help someone understand I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. Those of us that already have formed our opinion, it's really good that we can go back after the trial and see what happened before. I mean, as I still say, I'm waiting for the day that I understand why this has even had a court. Why was Karen Reed ever even? Okay, Ernie, I'll download just and send a friend request to Ernie Birdie. I can't remember who I am on there. I'm sure it's got something to do with Nana because Nana's just near about every word I say. Here, let me write this down. Ernie Birdie, so that I spell it right. I may know it, and then I'm like, oh, am I going to type it wrong? I'm just going to say, y'all, I am so torn right now because there are so many videos I'd like to do about Canton, and then there's so many videos I want to do about the Karen Reed case, and it's just trying to decipher which to do because oh my gosh, I mean I just get on here and call out names of people that really should be doing something to help, but right now we're doing Karen Reed. So now I've rambled on for a good 11 minutes and I'm going to go ahead and get down to business here. So what we have here is this letter is by Trooper Kathleen M. Price. It is regarding her interview with Jennifer McCabe. The interview was conducted on 1 February. Now, she does not date her report, best I can tell. Nope. No date on hers. But the reason I'm going to read it now is because I just did Karen Reed. And now, Karen Reed, oh my Lord, please forgive me. I just did Proctor's interview of Jennifer McCabe. So I'm going to follow that up with the next one, which was on February 1st. And you can look at the first one, then you go to this one and go, holy cow, it's like between January 29th and February the 1st, she sure does have a lot of embellishing in here. Seems to me that you would have had everything that's in here being said long before right now, because normally the first interview after the fact, you've got all kind of detail. And then as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that as she's trying to fit things to the situation. That's my opinion. I see that like we're going to get a spot in here where she talks about John O'Keefe ex-girlfriend, that that she used that house. I mean, just little digs and things that you just don't think really were happening. But anyhow, let's get busy. Let's read it. Let's get going because I'm sure I've got something pressing. My house is just today. It's not a good day. It's not a good day. I've got too many people with too many different emotions. It's just not a good day. So it's a good day for me. Good day I'm fine. Yeah, thank you, Margaret. See, I feel that. That's why I figure that since, I do a lot of digging on this, and I figure, well, heck, if I feel that way, somebody else may want to hear it. So that's what I'm doing, and I appreciate y'all being here. But let me get busy because if not, I can just talk about anything all day as if I'm talking. And literally, I will attest. Do you know, and this is the honest truth, the other day, my husband come in the kitchen. I've probably already told this story because it's true and it just happened. But I was in there just talking away. I can't remember if I was talking regarding my coffee or a cup or ice. I don't know. It was just a trivial conversation that I was having in the kitchen. I was the only one in the kitchen. And then my husband comes in the kitchen to ask me what in the world I'm saying. And once again, as normal, I just looked at him and said, Sorry, I was talking myself. And once again, he says, I so wish you wouldn't do that. Anyway, that's the way it is around our house. Because if I got some, I mean, it's like, bah, 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 bah. And then other times I can sit quiet for hours upon hours. So you never know which nana you're getting, right? All right, let's dive in. As I said, originally I called these emails. The more I look at it, they're just, I guess, reports sent over. I mean, I thought reports were written on different reports, but things have gotten different, different. All right, so this is on February the 1st of 2022, just a few days after the accident. On February the 1st, 2022, I, along with Trooper Connor Keith, went in Canton to speak to Jennifer McCabe concerning the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe on January 29, 2022. The following is a summary of what Miss McCabe told us. Now, I do understand the summaries that we're reading are not going to be verbatim of what came out of her mouth because it's someone's summary. However, I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see the differences. Miss McCabe stated that on Friday, January 28, 2022, she and her husband, Matt McCabe, had been at the waterfall in Canton. Jen said that John and Karen came into the waterfall around 11 p.m. Jen said that she shows John O'Keefe, that she knows John O'Keefe because her daughter and John O'Keefe's niece are friends. I didn't block that out, sorry. She said that she had to come to know Karen through John because the two were dating. Jen said that John had encouraged Jen and Karen to become friends because Jen has multiple sclerosis, MS, and Karen had also been diagnosed with MS. John and Karen had been at C.F. McCarthy's before they came into the waterfall. Jen noticed that Karen had a mixed drink in a clear glass in her hand that she had brought over from C.F. McCarthy's. Once again, I can't help but insert, and I'm not real sure how she could tell it was a mixed drink. I believe vodka's clear last time I checked. At the end of the evening, Jen said that she and her husband were planning to go to her sister's house because it was her nephew Brian Albert's birthday. Jen said that she asked Karen and John if they wanted to come along, and they said that they would. The Alberts live at 34 Fairview. Jen said that John had texted her at 12:14 to get the address. Jen said that she spoke with John on the phone to explain where the house is. She said that she remembers providing him with directions, specifically telling him to drive past Bella's house on the right. Jen said that John would know where Bella lives, as she's a good friend of her niece, his niece. Jen said that while she was at the house, someone said there was a car outside. Jen looked out the front of the house and saw the car. She assumed it was John and Karen. She said that she did not notice what kind of car it was. So in Proctor's, and when she said to Proctor, he put it as a black SUV, or correct? But here she's saying she doesn't know cars and she couldn't say what kind it was. She could not describe the car at all. No, oops, I didn't say the name. All right, so she noticed that the vehicle was facing the opposite direction of how it would have been if they had followed the directions provided earlier. Oh, Bella. Okay. I have no problem saying Bella. I mean, that's in the report right here. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't mind saying that. I mean, that's how Jen explained it, right? We want them to know that she would know because of where Bella's mom lived. That's what Jennifer wanted people to see. is that because that's the person that they're later going to claim, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I don't mind that I said that. So, Jen said while she was at the house, someone said there was a car outside. Jen looked out the front door of the house, saw the car. She assumed it was John and Karen. She said she did not notice what kind of car it was. Jen said that she is not good at identifying cars and was not able to provide a description of the car. She noticed that the vehicle was facing the opposite direction of how it would have been if they had followed the directions provided earlier. Jen then texted John at 12:21 a.m. Here? She texted John again at 12:31 a.m. and told him to pull behind her vehicle. She looked out the window a little while later and noticed the car was further away from the house, closer to the neighbor. At 12:40 a.m., she texted again and said, "Hello, where are you?" There was no response from John. Jen said that her phone shows a call from her phone to John around that time, but she thinks she dialed him by accident when she was putting her phone in and out of her pant pocket. The next time she looked out the window, the car was gone. She did not think anything of it and thought that they just decided not to come in. Jen said that she and her husband were at the house from around 11:45 to about 1:30 a.m. She said that she and her husband drove two of her nephew's friends home and then they went home. A little bit different because she told Proctor she went straight home. But then she also said Proctor, she said she didn't say half of what she said. So the following morning, Jen got a call from John's niece saying, "Hi, Jen, Karen needs to talk to you." Karen got on the phone and was yelling, "John never came home." Karen told Jen that she left him at the waterfall. Jen thought that perhaps he was with a friend. Jen said that she checked with Julie Albert to see if they'd gone to their house. Jen explained to Karen that she did not leave him at the waterfall because they were outside Jen McCabe's sister's house after the waterfall. Karen then told Jen that when she got home, John was not with her. Jen began to think of other friends that John might have ended up going to, such as Tom Beatty's, but he was not there either. Karen was telling Jen that she, Karen, had not planned to stay the night at John's house and that John would have not stayed out all night, leaving his niece home alone overnight. At some point, they were talking on the phone. Karen got into her car and started driving. Jen said that Karen was hysterically screaming. Karen drove to Jen's house. In that other statement, she said that she told Karen to come to her house and they would go search together. So, whoops. Jen said that when Karen showed up at her house around 5:30 a.m., she went outside and started to drive Karen's car to John's house. She said that they got to John's house around 5:45 a.m. Shortly after, Carrie arrived. They looked in John's house to make sure he was not there. The three decided to all get into one vehicle to look for him. They took Carrie's car. Jen said that Karen was saying things like, "Could I have hit him? Look at the crack in my taillight. There's a crack in it." Jen said that she did notice damage to the taillight. Jen said that Karen was so hysterical and saying so many things that Jen did not think that Karen actually hit him. Karen was also saying things about him possibly being with old girlfriends. Hey, Carrie B, good to see you. You know, I will say that I will one day really like to hear what Karen Reed has to say. All of this is, everybody says what Karen Reed says, but Karen Reed hasn't said yet what Karen said. Jen said they probably got on the road around 5:53 a.m. to go look for John. Carrie was driving. Karen was in the back. Jen was in the passenger seat. They pulled down to Fairview from Chapman Street. Jen said that as they were approaching 34 Fairview House, Karen said, "Pull the effing car over, there he is." Jen said that she did not notice him, but Karen did. Carrie stopped in the middle of the road, and Karen jumped out of the car and went to him. Jen said that John was in the area where she had last seen the vehicle the night prior. Of course. Yeah, really would. I can't wait to hear Karen. Jen said that he was on the lawn. There was a coating of about 6 inches on him, 6 inches of snow on him. Karen threw herself on top of him. He was lying on his back, and his phone was on the ground underneath him. Jen said that she called 911. They attempted CPR, and the ambulance and police arrived. Jen said that Karen was very hysterical. She was asking people if she had hit him. She was told to sit in a car. Jen went over to Karen when she was in the car. Jen observed Karen to have blood on her hands and face. Karen was holding her hands up, saying, "I have my period." Jen said that she told Karen that was not her blood, it was Sean's blood from them doing CPR. Jen also stated that while her and Karen were in the back of the car, Karen was yelling and screaming one moment and then completely calm the next. Jen said that they prayed Our Father together. Karen then immediately yelled at Jen 2 times, folks, to Google, "How long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia?" Jen was unsure if she, Karen, was brought from the scene by ambulance to the hospital. Jen was asked about what Karen and John were like when they were at the water club. She said that they did not notice them fighting. She has known them to be together as a couple for a couple of years, 2 years. To her knowledge, they loved each other. She said that she did not think that there were any issues between them. Jen said that the only thing she can think of is once Karen made a comment that if there were not any kids, they would not have anything to fight over. Jen told Karen that was very normal. Jen was asked about their relationship, their level of intoxication, and she said that they were both drinking, but did not appear to be drunk. So that was yet the second statement of Jennifer McCabe. So we now will go to, sorry y'all, but these are just not in the orders I wanted to do them. So now we're going to go to Matthew McCabe. So I don't think we have any more. Let me make sure that that's all of Jennifer. Ryan. Trooper Nicholas, who doesn't know how to do diddly squat with a phone. Nicole Albert. Oh, that one I have. Oh, whoops here. Oh, sorry guys. Her birthday's still on there. I know these are public record, but I really try to be respectful. I mean, I know I didn't take out the niece's name either, but I try to watch. But let me get back to that because it had her personal information. I don't want that out there. And I'm also looking at the dates of the here. Let me hold on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's see. I'm not saying she was ever trying to vilify Karen. What I am saying is the story sure did change, and as it changed, it embellished and pointed to the story that it became. That's just my opinion. Whoops. From what I've seen. All right, so I don't do real good on this little squiggly. I think it may be, she was on the 3rd though, so yep, that's it. All right, so my apologies, folks, and yeah, this is how I go back and forth. So we got Nicole Albert. She appeared to be interviewed on February 3rd. So let's go back up. Trooper was on Saturday 29th. It was written on February 4th. So here, let me put this back. I'm sorry. Y'all can at least see that I'm like trying to be a blooming idiot, right? Okay. All right, right. Oh, here. Whoops. See, when they leave this stuff in here, there you go. That's crooked. He is on January 29th. No, when was this? It was written on February 7th. This is Ryan Nagel. January 29th. Let's see. Okay, so I'm guessing that they interview around the 7th. All right, so we're good there. We'll go into Jen's and let's do Matt McCabe. He should be around April 7th. Okay. All right, folks. So this is Trooper Michael Proctor, his interview of Matthew McCabe on January 29th, 2022 at approximately 6:04 a.m. The Canton Police Department received a 911 call for a male party. John O'Keefe discovered unresponsive outside of 34 Fairview Road. Canton Police, Fire, and EMS responded to the scene. Canton Fire and EMS were dispatched to 34 Fairview Road for an unresponsive male discovered outside in the snow, and CPR was in progress. Canton EMS transported the victim to Good Samaritan Hospital, where he was determined to be deceased. At the Waterfall Bar on Friday night, January 28th, and at 34 Fairview Road was Matthew McCabe. Sergeant Bukkake and I arrived at Matthew's residence on January 29th and agreed to speak with investigators. Matthew has known John for approximately 8 years and met Karen Reed a handful of times. He did not know any of the medical issues John may have had. Excuse me, I need a drink. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Hey, Margaret, I don't remember what Tom Beatty had to say. We will get there, won't we? I don't have a report for him, so I guess just be testimony. I'm sorry. Let me get back up here. Jennifer. Matthew had known him for approximately. Matthew and his wife Jennifer arrived at Waterfall Bar at approximately 9 p.m. on Friday, January 28th. Matthew stated they went to the bar to have some drinks and food with friends. Matthew stated John and Karen entered the Waterfall Bar by themselves, and John was wearing a baseball hat with a curved visor. Matthew did not observe any arguing amongst John and Karen or with anyone else inside the bar. Matthew stated Karen was consuming a clear liquid he believed to be a vodka drink. As the night was winding down, Matthew went over to speak with the band as everyone in the bar was leaving. Matthew stated John and Karen left before him, and the only people left inside the bar were the 4 band members and himself. Matthew left, got into his vehicle where Jennifer was waiting for him, and heard her call John to invite him to Brian Albert's house. While at 34 Fairview Road, Matthew stated he observed a big, dark SUV parked to the right side of the house. Matthew stated he was making these observations from the front door. Matthew stated he looked out the front window and observed the same big, dark SUV had moved to the other side of the property, approximately 15 to 20 feet. Matthew was not sure how long the vehicle was outside for, but he did not hear any loud noises or screaming from the inside. Matthew stated both times he observed the vehicle on the street. The headlights were facing towards Chapman Street. Matthew stated he observed tire tracks in the snow on the street in front of the house. Matthew described the pattern as a wave or V shape. Matthew stated that the tire tracks went from the curb in front of 34 Fairview toward the neighbor across the street and then back towards the curb. The pattern of the tracks were consistent with making a three-point turn. Matthew stated he did not see these tracks prior to the big black SUV arriving outside of the house. Trooper Proctor really didn't elaborate much more, did he? But yeah, three-point turn. The interesting thing is, I just read it, but I don't think Jennifer McCabe had brought up a three-point turn yet. All right, so we've got that one. Is it Nagel? We're going to go ahead and do Nagel. February the 7th, 2022. This is from Bukaki to Tully. Ryan Nagel. On January 29th, 2020, this must have been a copy and paste because it's in every one of them, and it's like I just can't believe how sloppy all of this is, and it's regarding a police officer. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Lack of concern. That's my humble opinion. Never seen such crappy investigating or lack thereof, in my opinion. So on January 29th, 2022, at approximately 6:04 a.m., Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party, John O'Keefe, found in the snow at 34 Fairview Road. At the time of the 911 call, there was heavy snow and the temperature was in the teens. Officers Seraph and Mullaney were dispatched to the scene, along with Canton Fire and EMS. Officer Seraph arrived on scene and observed three females waving at him. Looking at 34 Fairview from the road, the three females were in the left corner of the property. Officer Seraph observed the victim lying on the ground as two of the females were performing CPR. The three females on scene were identified by Canton PD as Karen Reed, Jennifer McCabe, and Carrie Roberts. Additionally, a male party was identified as being in the area that night prior and possibly could have witnessed the victim arriving in the area of 34 Fairview. They said that the male was identified as Ryan Nagel, who was contacted by his sister Julie Nagel, asking for a ride home while visiting with her friend Brian Albert at 34 Fairview. Ryan came into the Norfolk District Attorney's Office for a pre-scheduled interview on Monday, February the 7th, 2022 at 2:35 p.m. The following is a summary of information requested and provided by Ryan during that interview with Trooper Proctor and me. Me is Bukaki. Ryan confirmed that he was contacted by Julie requesting a ride home. At the time, Ryan was with his friend Richard D.A. How's that? Who was driving his gray in color Ford F-150 pickup truck with Ryan seated in the front passenger seat. Ryan's girlfriend Heather Maxon was seated in the back passenger compartment. Ryan recalls Richie driving down Cedar Crest Road from the direction of Kennedy Elementary School as the F-150 approached Fairview. Ryan remembers seeing a set of headlights of a mid-sized black SUV coming from the opposite direction of Cedar Crest. Subsequently, Richie yielded to the vehicle, allowing it to make a right turn onto Fairview as their F-150 then followed, making a left-hand turn onto Fairview. Ryan told us that Richie stopped the F-150 directly in front of the driveway belonging to 34 Fairview. Remember the black SUV stopping along the right-hand curve towards the left side of the property as you look at the home from the street. When asked, Ryan stated he did not observe any erratic operation by the SUV as it turned from Cedar Crest onto Fairview or at any point while in his presence. So far we have, and if you remember from trial, everybody said they were drinking, but none appeared to be drunk. Now we've got people that have seen her driving. None have seen her drive erratic or with any issues. So in trying to prove any case of her driving intoxicated, there were no signs prior to leaving the bar. There were no signs from people that didn't have any knowledge of her whatsoever, just saw a car driving and felt no concern. I've seen cars where I've had concern. Let me tell you, we just saw one the other night on the way back from Houston, and my husbed sped up to get past it, and I'm a panic person in a car, but I was like, ah! He's like, no, don't worry, I got it. All right, so Ryan went on to say that their F-150 remained in front of the house for a period of time that was no longer than 5 minutes, at which time his sister Julie came out of the home and asked if the three of them would like to come inside. Brian refused the invite, and Julie stated that she wanted to stay a little longer and most likely spend the night at 34 Fairview. There's a second person intending on spending the night. You know, you go to an after party, you got people planning on spending the night, but then the people that were planning on spending the night all of a sudden had to get home, including a daughter. Just kind of weird. Just kind of weird. But I, look deeper into things. So let's see. Upon the conclusion of their conversation, Julie retreated back inside the home, and Ryan noticed that the SUV pulled up a few feet to the far edge of the property line between 34 and the neighboring property where the flagpole was located, along with some bushes. Ryan stated that the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle in park, as the rear brake lights were illuminated to include the third top center light at the initial positioning and after it pulled up. Now, in that type of a situation, I'm going to venture to say you would have noticed if there was a big old humongous hunk out of that tail light, would you not? Because it's all lit up. That would definitely be shining in your face like something that you want. When I'm driving down the street and somebody got their bright lights on and they're shining in my face, okay, same thing. If you are behind a car and their tail light's busted out, you're going to have that light just shining in your face. It's going to be an irritant. You're going to remember that. That's just my opinion. And I'm not one of these people that you can say, hey, what did you see 5 minutes ago? I'd be like, oh, I don't remember. And that'd be for real. It's really kind of scary sometimes. It just goes in, goes out my brain. It's like, oh, it wasn't important, but maybe it was. Trooper Proctor asked Ryan if at any point he had heard screams, yelling, or any noise coming from the black SUV while he was on Fairview, to which he stated no. Ryan added that as Richard pulled away from 34 Fairview, their F-150 drove past the black SUV, at which time Ryan observed the interior light on and a Caucasian female operator seated inside the vehicle, holding the steering wheel at the 10 and 2, looking straight ahead of her. Ryan told us that he did not see anyone else in the passenger compartment during his brief observation of the SUV as they drove by it. Ryan did not see the SUV leave and did not note any damage to the vehicle, as he remembers. When asked, Ryan stated that it was just started snowing approximately half an hour prior, and there was a coating of snow on the ground. While present in the area of Cedar Crest and Fairview, Brian did not see any other vehicles besides the F-150 the black SUV without having any further to provide about the evening. Trooper Proctor and I concluded our interview with Ryan. All righty. Crystal Light. Oh my goodness, I remember Crystal Light. It had some kind of a weird flavor afterwards, doesn't it? All right, let's see. Should we go ahead and just keep on going, or should we, I just feel that doing really, really long ones is not worth anything. Oh, no, we're going to keep going, y'all. We're going to keep going. Let me see how long this one is. This one isn't too long. 1, 2, 3. What is that? 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. It's not as long as I thought, right? Because there's one page in there that's a double. All right, let's go. So this is from Bukaki to Tully, February 23rd, 2022. On February the 3rd, 2022, at approximately 5:20 p.m., Trooper Proctor and I traveled to 34 Fairview Road, Canton, for a pre-scheduled interview with Nicole Albert at her residence. Through our investigation into the death of John O'Keefe, Nicole had been identified as a witness present with the group of friends at the Waterfall Bar and Grill on January 28, 2022. Nicole is also a resident. Nicole is also, the resident. I was going, what? Nicole is also the resident with her husband, Brian, who invited some friends and family back to 34 Fairview Road in Canton following the bar closing for the night, and was witness to events inside the home. The following is a summary of information requested and provided by Nicole during the interview with Trooper Proctor and me. After being invited to the home by Nicole and her husband Brian, Trooper Proctor and I formally, well, why would you put this? Formally introduced ourselves and thanked both of them for their time. Nicole began saying that she does not know Karen and had never met her prior to the 28th of January. She had met John O'Keefe once or twice out in a social setting. Nicole shared that she was aware that John had recently moved near his sister's home and only knew him as the niece's uncle. On the night of, here, we'll just take it out just to feel better. I don't know. On the night of January 28th, Nicole stated that she met her sister Julie, daughter Tristan, and her boyfriend. Okay, let me read that. Let me start that again, because the way I was reading it just doesn't sound right. On the night of January 28th, Nicole stated she met her sister Julie, daughter Tristan, and her boyfriend out at dinner at approximately 7:30 p.m. at the Waterfall Bar and Grill. At approximately 9 p.m., Jen and Matt McCabe met Nicole and Julie at the bar. And then approximately 10 p.m., Brian came out after his return from New York City. New York City! Pace picante sauce. At approximately 11 p.m., Nicole remembered that John and Karen came into the bar and were positioned on the opposite end of the high top table the group was occupying. I don't get the high top. I mean, the high top seems to be a main focus, unless it's just to show you where they were. But I'm curious if high tops mean you're like, are you special? Are those the best tables? It's been a long time since I've been bar hopping, so I wouldn't know. Good Lord Almighty, that was eons ago. That was centuries. No, that was a long decades and decades. Yeah, I found it. All right. Nicole recalled John coming over once and asking if they wanted anything from the bar. Nicole stated that John was wearing jeans, sneaker, and a hat. That's the same thing that Jennifer said. Jeans, sneaker, and a hat. At approximately midnight, Nicole stated that she left the waterfall and was met at her home by her sister, Jen McCabe, brother-in-law Matt McCabe, and husband Brian. Nicole went on to say that all the guests left her home an hour later at approximately 1 a.m. on the 29th of January. It just makes no sense that you go to an after party and the after party was half an hour, basically an hour. But then everybody else left at 1:30, but she remembers them leaving at 1. I mean, I don't keep good track of time, so I'll give you that. Carrie B. Turboy has stated that Karen Reed never asked Jim McCabe to Google that. I don't think that she did. And nobody in any of the videos ever saw a video where Karen Reed was in a car with Jim McCabe once the police officers were present. So you would think with somebody's body cam it would have been one, but then y'all have to remember that Jim McCabe went into that house too. So she had a lot going on before she got in that house. Later on, during the morning hours of January 29, 2022, Nicole stated that she was still in bed when her sister Jen came into the room and shared with Nicole what had transpired outside and that John was found deceased on the edge of her property by the street in the snow. Nicole stated that she never left her home, and by the time she came downstairs, Canton Fire Department must have transported both John and Karen from the scene. I still find this denial unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. The blue lights alone from an emergency vehicle, the blue lights alone, I mean, they pierce the air. That's all I can say. I've been there, done that. They pierce the sky. According to Nicole, there was no fights, arguments, or altercations at any time during the night between anyone present at Waterfall or at her home, 34 Fairview, Canton, 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Nicole stated that everything was fine. She remembered John talking to her sister Jen at the bar. Nicole did not observe any injuries on John while he was present at the bar. Nicole shared that her and Brian walked out of Waterfall Bar prior to John and Karen, and that the two were still at the bar at that time. When asked about the utility box at the edge of property near the flagpole where John was found, Nicole stated that it had been open and slightly damaged for a long time prior to January 28th, 2022. So I'm glad that was the truth. Okay, so we've already, I guess I'll have to read this and see if the 2 pages are exactly the same, but I'm not going to do that there. I just wonder. That would be hysterical, wouldn't it, to have one page read one thing and one page read another? I doubt that happened. They just scanned them in kind of weird. Directing her attention from her home following the waterfall, Nicole stated that she did not hear any arguments, noises coming from the outside of her home, and that neither John nor Karen came into the home at any point. Nicole went on to say that she was not even aware that her sister Jen had invited John and Karen to the house following the waterfall. Without having any additional information to share with Trooper Proctor and me, we thanked Nicole for her time and concluded the interview. So I'm a little confused over that they didn't know, that they did know, that they didn't know. What is something else that bothers me? Is she the one that also said that she saw Jennifer with a glass? Because there was one other person that said Jennifer came in with a glass, because that's the end of hers. Where is it? Hold up. See how bad my memory is, y'all? I just read all this, and I got to go back and look. That's right. There's something that Jennifer. I don't know why it's so jumpy. Okay, here it is. Here it is, guys. So on this one, Jen said that she checked with Julie Albert to see if he had gone to their house. So Jen checked with Julie Albert to see if it had gone to their house. With Julie Albert. So this other one is Nicole. I get so confused. Who the hell is Julie and where is she? I mean, is Julie Albert Chris's wife? I don't know. See, I get really confused. So now the other thing, all right. Now I'm going to go ahead and say that the next one I'll do is the narrative for Sergeant Good and the narrative for Stephen Seraph, which and Lank. So we'll do the narratives in another video because yeah, Mulaney, we got a lot of those, so we'll do those on another video. But I think that at least we've got those messages. Those are they reports? Is that what we're calling? What we call these reports? I mean, I'm assuming. I get confused on the names. I need to write them down because okay, so Brian Albert's wife, Nicole. So who is Julie? That why would Jen have called Julie to see if John had gone there? Jen said that she checked with Julie Albert to see if they'd gone to their house. Is that like a typo? Julie is Nicole's sister. Why would she have called Julie? So if it's Nicole's sister, Nicole's married to Brian, and then Julie is also, oh, Julie is Nicole's, wait, I'm so confused. Who's Jim McCabe's sister? I thought Jim McCabe's sister was Nicole. Albert. I don't guess I'll have to sit on here while I try to figure it out. I do need to make myself a cheat sheet because holy cow, Julie Albert is Nicole Albert's sister and Colin Albert's mother. Jim McCabe is just a good friend of Nicole. Oh, okay, so Brian Albert is not related to the McCabe's at all. I guess that's where I get confused. I guess because her nose is so far in this that it's like, holy cow. But I'm going to say Julie Albert and Nicole Albert aren't sisters. Nicole and Jen McCabe. Nicole and Jen McCabe are sisters. Good Lord, beat myself, and I still won't get it, but I will take note. Yeah, I need to write it down because I'm always getting confused. Thanks, Ernie Birdie. Yeah, I can get confused. We just say anybody that wants to be completely lost, y'all come watch Nana stream because she'll get y'all so confused you won't know what ends is up, even though she thinks she's got the answers. Nah, I don't have the answers, but what I do have is nothing but doubt. And if people keep saying if you take your emotions out of it, judge without your emotions. And folks, I did. I judged with no emotions. I went into this trial as if I were a juror. And therefore, my responses, my thoughts, my digging, my impressions of the investigation have nothing to do with any personal feelings. I'm far removed from knowing any of the players. But what I am is convinced that we got some bad, shady shit going on. And they're trying to take down what I believe is an innocent woman for the bad, shady shit. So, how many of y'all can back up at 10 miles an hour really fast? Oh my God, Jill Daniels. Okay. Jill Daniels, now she is something else. She is something else. I want to know if Jill Daniels and that Yahoo from that delivery pizza, have they ever been brought up on charges yet for assaulting Turtle Boy? Just because somebody stands in your face and runs their mouth does not give you a right to become physical. And Chris Albert, he makes me sick. His apology, it was not an apology. It was a statement written out by people trying to save grace for his behavior. Because I tell you what, see, this goes into the other one, which is I think everybody in the Canton area needs to start going out in town to eat. Not in Canton. They need to go out of town. Get your taxpayer dollars out of Canton. Because the select board spends it on whatever they want. Take it away from them. Why should they be able to spend your money on everything that they want and nothing that you want? Because that's ridiculous. So that's just, Jill is weird. Jill, Ernie, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I mean, don't worry about it. I'm not I'm a pretty easygoing. I try my best to realize there's so many different people, and hey, I curse. Um, it's so hard to believe that I was Miss Prim and proper. Not look. I always wore blue jeans and t-shirts. I'm a blue jeans and t-shirts kind of girl, but I mean, I didn't use bad words, not the big bad words. I used the DAMN and SHIT, and I'm just saying that in case I don't want YouTube to. I don't think I'm even monetized, but if I am monetized, I don't want them to get me for saying a curse word. But I'm just baffled. Yeah, the more I check, the more I read. And in all honesty, what I read the other day about what Proctor said in order to bring charges on Karen Reed, when he said her friends said, it wasn't her friends. It wasn't her friends. It was one person. By the time he wrote that arrest or whatever you want to call that he was putting in for a warrant for arrest, so far at that point, and the only person that he notated said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, was Katie McLaughlin, who's a friend of, I'm sorry, she went to school with someone named Caitlin Albert. And then from there, it started expanding more. One more person said they heard it. So I'm just, my goodness, if people could actually be arrested because of the things that you think, because of something somebody said, so and so said. We've always told people, well, that doesn't prove anything, and you've got to have evidence. Well, there's no evidence. That's the problem, and yet they continue. And I am outraged that they're going to pay a special prosecutor $1 million. That $1 million could be used elsewhere, folks. Sure can. It could be used to clean house in town of Canton somehow or another and get these people going on a right path. No, we're going to pay a special prosecutor $1 million because we hope that he can go in with all the evidence that has been presented and find a way to make this evidence fit the crime that was done. And it's impossible. So, all right, folks. Well, I'm gonna have to get off. Y'all probably listen to me rattle enough. I've read that. I will. My next ones will be, let's see, because as I say, I'm trying my very best to go in order with what I've come up with and how I can put it. So I think that we've got all the interviews. Trooper Garino, we'll go ahead and read his. Just, ooh, that was my stomach. Just because we get it out of the way, and since it was done. This was on February 4th, 2022. And this is, he's the one that couldn't find thousands upon thousands upon thousands of text messages in the Sandra Birchmore case. And so, yeah, anything he has to say about anything from here on out, he has no credibility. Of course, we do that he was just giving them what they wanted. So, on Saturday, January 29, 2022, Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Bukaki of Norfolk District Attorney's Office responded to an unattended death of John O'Keefe, date of birth. Oh, bless his heart. 12/8/75. Yep, could have been my child. At 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Through his investigation, it was found that O'Keefe was a victim of a motor vehicle homicide. And while on scene, Trooper Proctor secured O'Keefe's cell phone and brought it to the Norfolk DA's office for forensic analysis. The problem here is we're missing what time, when did you get the phone? So did you get the phone on the 29th or did you get the phone on February 4th? I don't know. Do you know? The evidence was given to me in good working order and transported to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office by Trooper Proctor. The evidence provided to me is as follows. One Apple iPhone 11 cell phone. And then he says what he did for the searches and what he used, a copy of the cell phone extraction. So that's what we have from him. Whoop-de-doo. All right, then we've got the interviews that have been read, and now the next portion that we will have will be the narratives of the cops. How's that, guys? So I think this is a pretty good place to stop. And I can't tell y'all if I'm going to do these as live or if I'm going to do these as pre-records or what. Each has its own benefit, Pre-record allows me to hit the pause button. Going live keeps me smoking less cigarettes. Going live lets me watch y'all's chat and get a little bit, sidetracked. It's like, and then figuring out when. I just have so many different videos that I want to do because there's so much out there. And some of it is like, oh my gosh. And especially with this new, we got a new high powered prosecutor coming in, which, quite frankly, you cannot make this evidence that we have seen prove Karen Reed did anything wrong. Sadly, what Karen Reed did wrong was driving John O'Keefe to the Alberts and leaving him there, as if he wasn't a big enough man to decide whether he wanted to be left there or not, because I've heard that his family, that's what they blame her for, just leaving him. You left him there? You left him there. At his age, I would think he's old enough that someone could determine that he could be left there, right? That's just how I see it. So I appreciate y'all. And Ernie Birdie, I've got you written down. So I'm going to go on to Discord. And like I said, I'm not sure who I am, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have Nanny in it somewhere. But I guess if it lets you, if it lets me, I can say it. I don't know if it lets you, but I don't know how it's going to point it out or what my things are or anything. But you know what? I'll tell you what, Ernie Birdie, if I get confused as to what I'm doing, I will I will send you a message in the comments of this video, because like I said, I don't know how to do, not that I'm afraid of people knowing who I am, but I just don't, you don't want your personal stuff just slammed with a bunch of hate and garbage, and you know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I don't have time for that. My shop's going to be opening soon. Hell, I'm trying to figure out a phone number for it and how to, I guess for that one I may use my phone. I don't know. I don't know. I guess just so I'm not bothered. But thank you. Glad you got it. All right, y'all. I want to say thank you very much. And I will, as I said, the next little bit we will have will be the narratives from the police officers. The Canton PD themselves, y'all. The Canton PD. I can't wait. Oh yeah, and I am just looking at this, and y'all. Um, I know. I need to figure that out, Ernie. It needs to be something easy. Okay, let me explain what my other issue. My other issue is, like, I had to get a email from my business, and I think I used a Google email. But I had to use a Google email under my husband's name because they say that I have too many accounts, but I can't find my accounts. So I don't know my accounts. So I don't know how to cancel it. So I guess for the last 20 years, any account that I maybe made, it doesn't come up by my name. It doesn't come up by my address. It doesn't come up by my phone number. So it must have been back in the AOL days, which I can't even believe, but maybe, because AOL, where you sit and you can watch flowers grow, well, it goes. That's how it was back in my day, that little circle. And you could watch your flowers grow as it decides it's going to like connect you, right? AOL, man, it was hard to get me off of AOL because I was like intimidated by anything else. I'm intimidated by a lot of the stuff in the computer, but I've gotten a little bit better about not having a fit because I can get really mad when I'm frustrated. I will tell you, when I'm frustrated because I can't figure out something on this computer, I may be frustrated as all get out, but I certainly don't want any help. I'm gonna do it my own self. And my family's trying to help me, and I'm like, "Grr." So I can be like, oh, see, I love typos. I am a typo. I mean, I'm a walking mess. That's what makes me so fun is I don't pretend to be anything I'm not. And I think that just as I've said, I've said it in my entire, from what I can remember, I do know for at least the minimum of the last 30 years that I worked was, uh, I always told people that I worked with, many of my customers told them same thing too. I don't charge for entertainment. That's free. So I hope you enjoyed. Y'all have a good day. I'll see y'all later. Ernie, I'm going to go figure out Discord. I'm going to probably eat a pack of cigarettes doing that, but no, I'm just kidding. I'll figure out Discord. Thank you so much, all of you. And y'all have a good day. Be nice. Bye.